My name's Michael Wells. I'm the Director of Championship Staging at the R&A, looking after the Open Championship. It's quite an emotional week actually for me. I say 18 years doing what I'm doing, starting at Carnoustie in '99, and this will be my 19th Open at Royal Birkdale, and moving on to become the Chief Executive at Carnoustie Links Trust, where it all began back in '99 when Paul Lawrie won the Open back then and lifted the claret jug and really started my love affair with the Open. So I'm going around full circle really, and you know, the time, over that period of time, the Open has just changed so much. So it's a team effort. I mean, there's a lot of us who contribute and make this thing happen every year, but it's hard to pinpoint year on year. When you look back through the photo books, though, you can see the significant difference between a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year and now. But just things like our grandstands, we never used to net them. They're all properly clad off now. We've got electronic leaderboards all around the golf course, which we never had before, and that's just helped the whole spectator experience. The development of our Open app has been successful, and doing these things, a temporary outdoor event which moves around the UK, it's so much different from a fixed site stadium venue where you have the luxury of maybe tweaking a few things, reinventing each year can be quite challenging. I think that's probably our biggest achievement, is being able to do that and consistently get better each year. In terms of the infrastructure layout, the spectator experience, we've tried to tidy things up a little bit. Around the clubhouse at Birkdale is compact. Everything's really close to one another, and there's such big crowds in the northwest. It's so important that we get that customer journey right, and it looks and feels like the world's preeminent golf major, which it is. So for us, it's that attention to detail and the customer journey and experiences is really very important. We've seen record ticket sales. The northwest of England is a really strong venue for the Open, and Birkdale's no exception to that. And we've got huge advanced ticket sales. We saw strong walk-up sales during our practice days, and we're looking forward to a big crowd and hopefully a record crowd come Sunday. I think for the championship days now, we're Thursday morning, we're probably going to be looking at somewhere in the region of 40,000 spectators on the golf course, and come Sunday we would hope to get up to that magic number of 50,000 a day, or 50,000 on a day. So it's looking certainly like a 200,000 plus crowd here. Trends have changed, particularly in hospitality, where we've seen a move from the more formal environment into the less formal, smaller numbers, and that's been quite significant over the last 8 or 9 years, and it seems to be much more popular. People, I think there is a place for the round table attend, sit down formal environment, but really it's the smaller groups, 2 or 3, 4 people coming along who want that come and go experience. We introduced the Champions Club a few years ago. That's going really well for us. We've got our 1860 Club and our partner suites in the claret jug. So we've got a tiered offering really, which we hope will facilitate everybody's needs. We're sold out this year across all of our hospitality tickets. We're sold out across our Twilight tickets as well, which we introduced a couple of years ago. So it's turned out really well. We're increasingly looking at who our customers are, what they're doing, how they're interacting with golf. Because aside from the Open, we have a responsibility to engage with golfers and help develop the game of golf worldwide. The Open does seem to be quite geographic in the UK, so our retention or our customers are coming from year to year is actually quite small. You're looking at maybe a 10% shift from one venue to the next, which is regional, I guess, in that respect. But I think because we now produce such a high standard as a television offer as well, that it's a great sport to watch on TV. So all these things play a factor, but it's strong in regional areas, the Open where it is. In terms of all of our AV networking, all that sort of stuff, we work closely with a company called C3I, who we've been with since 2009, who are a fantastic organisation based in Swansea, and they look after all of the IT, network engineering, the Wi-Fi measurements across the entire golf course here, which we've got 20 to 30,000 fans downloading, watching the live stream on our Open app, and that's a feat in itself just to do that over here. A Greco, fantastic contractor, Arena of course, and I think the Open is loyal to its contractors because we do have it's a family feeling, and when the going gets tough, it's important that we all stick together and make sure that we can get out any little troubles we might find ourselves in. So it's a close-knit community in contractors here. Weather, you think 2 weeks in the middle of July or a week in the middle of July, you think we're going to get a decent weather, but more often than not, it seems that we have to deal with some pretty adverse stuff. So the team are well attuned to dealing with weather delays. We had some heavy rain yesterday, and thankfully it was a practice day. We had some lightning coming in over the sea, so we decided to evacuate the golf course. But we've got some contingency plans which are well tried and tested. Our rules team look after that, get the players off the course, evacuate the grandstands. But we've got such good facilities in the spectator village that we can accommodate everybody in there for a bite to eat or something to drink until it passes through, and then out we go again. And this morning, bit of bad weather for the first tee. It was hammering down, but thankfully now it's dried up, and long may that continue. We work really closely with the police, the Home Office, our security teams on site. This year's been exactly the same as any other year. Clearly, in the last few weeks we've had to deal with the police a little bit more, and there will be increased security this week, both visually and behind the scenes. But we're quite confident that what we have in place is robust. We know who our customers are who are coming in. We've got lots and lots of security measures around. As I said, working very closely with the police to make sure that the open is as safe as it possibly can be. But yeah, it's again been a journey over that last 18 years in terms of looking back again through the picture galleries to see how we operated things. And when you look at the main pay gates here now, with our scanning technology, X-ray machines and all the rest of it, it's not, I guess, what we'd like to see, but it's necessary in this day and age, and we want to make sure we do it properly. Yeah, we've got 7 fantastic patrons with some top tier sponsors, if you like. We also have another level of sponsors called official suppliers and exclusive suppliers. We try to bring as much value to them as possible, and vice versa. So our relationships are ones which are developed. We like to think that we can create bespoke rights packages for patrons. So rather than, I guess, choosing off a menu of things, it's about sitting down and actually working out what activation or what our patrons want out of this, and what we want out of our patrons as well. Because it's very important that with a major sporting event like the Open, that we can activate through our patrons' relationships as well as they can activate through us. So it really is a mutually beneficial relationship we have. Again, our family of patrons is pretty loyal to the Open, has been over a number of years. We've welcomed Hugo Boss this year as our official apparel partner, so that's a new one for this year. And they love it. We love looking after them. It's collaborative. I guess in the past it's been more traditional. So with Mercedes, they might want a contemporary car showroom, or MasterCard have their MasterCard Club in the Village, or HSBC with the Swing Zone, which is an interactive thing, great for us. But more and more we're seeing our patrons activate through digital platforms. So for example, this year MasterCard are working with us on their Quicker app. So at the 9th grandstand we're doing a proof of concept for food and beverage ordering on your smartphone, which is then delivered up onto the grandstand seats. It's been pretty successful. So what we're hoping to do next year is embed that into our official Open app, available in more venues around the golf course. You'll be able to sit there, watch the golf, keep up to date with all of the scoring and stats. Live feed, as mentioned, from the network. We'd also be able to order something to eat and something to drink from your seat without having to miss any of the action. So that's just another example of an innovation working in partnership with one of our patrons. I guess Brexit was a catalyst for us to look at this possibly, but golf is a global sport. It's increasingly, in fact, probably exclusively getting it's paid in dollars, and that's something which is our players understand, our partners understand. So that's a decision we've made to move to paying in dollars. With the FX rates changing as they are, it helps us to lock down and future-proof our own investments as well. So dollars is a good idea for us right now, and it's something which our players are very familiar with. So actually works quite well for them too.
My name's Grahame Muir, CEO of Arena Group UK and Europe. We're at Royal Birkdale, Southport, for the Open Golf Championship. We have built over 28,000 square metres of structure, furniture, interiors, tableware, scaffolding, scoreboards, camera platforms, a whole array of event infrastructure, and we're very proud to have been delivering that work for the Open for almost 40 years now. We've got long-term contracts, long-standing relationships, a lot of trust. We're not just a supply partner. I think we like to think we're a lot deeper. Our involvement in the staging and the planning of this event and future events, it starts quite a few years before an event, marking it out, involved with the staging team of the Open Golf Championship, looking at the problems, the challenges, how we can build it safer, more cheaply, etc., to accommodate the vast numbers of people that we see coming to this Open. Michael Wells, we've been pleased to work with him and for him as a client and hopefully a friend, and really proud to have supported his aspirations to really bring the Open into the 21st century and deliver a truly global sporting event. The standards have moved on and on, as has the IT, the TV, the media, and we are part of that. I think it's just bringing the activation forward for people that come to an Open, what they now expect and demand, how close they can get to the action, to the players, the data on all the competitors during the event, the people at home, what they see, what they experience, what brand partners expect and what they want to portray to the end user, whether that's TV or the audience that arrives at the event itself. Well, the demands of a major sporting event, and we're lucky to deliver a lot of the UK's big sporting events, whether that's a Grand National or Wimbledon last week through to the Open Golf Championship here today. Those brand partners are looking for an awful lot more, and we have to have a vast array of structures, so we have to have single deck, double deck, triple deck. We do all the interior fit out, a lot of the interior fit out, the graphics, the branding, the scaffolding, the scoreboards. There's a lot that goes into delivering an Open Golf Championship. It's almost unlike any other event that we're involved in. The staging of it is a different venue every year, and that itself brings its own challenges. You're less familiar clearly with every event that you work on, so the planning has to be much greater. Last year we invested in a new innovation product, which is for the retail facility here, that's for the first year being used by Boss, and that is to provide an enhanced retail environment. We don't want customers to feel that they're walking into a tent. We want them to feel that they're walking into a permanent building. That structure satisfies that brief from an acoustic and thermal properties, and Boss and the supply partners are really pleased with it, and this product is moving the expectation and the experience of customers to a whole new level. That structure we have also built for the ATP Tour. We built it for a temporary cinema in the Embankment last year. The demands and expectations of clients now are that temporary structures need to feel like permanent structures, and that's what we hope we can deliver, not just with the structure but with all the interiors, the fit out, the whole experience. And unlike any other event supplier, we can do the whole thing under one roof. Other than the arena structures, clearly we have Spaceworks, our furniture company, delivering tables, chairs, etc., well-dressed tables, doing all the tableware, and we have our interiors division doing internal linings, walling, and creating looks and features for many of the partners in the Open itself, and of course Arena Scaffolding, a major provider at this event. There are a number of benefits, from having a single point of contact, a very joined up approach. We all work in one office. We can hear and see what's going on and listen to all the challenges and the thoughts and the ideas, through to the client themselves having less people that they require to employ. It's a very cohesive offer as well. We've got one structural engineer, one health and safety manager that can look through as a thread that's running through the whole event. Everybody wants innovation every year. Everybody wants the very best, and because you can bulk up the offer, and it's just the law of economics, if you can bulk up the offer with one single client, we can give you the absolute best value for money. Conversely, we are cheaper when we go abroad, because sterling is very, very cheap, and that helps an awful lot. But frankly, the best we can do is the more work we can get, the more revenue you can get, the more visibility we can get, the better price position we can have, and we can take overhead that exists within other organisers and put it within Arena and hopefully make it cheaper for everybody. The Arena Group has extended its offer here for a further 3 years, and this is the first of a 3-year term. Next year we'll see us in Carnoustie, and then the following year for the first time we'll be in Northern Ireland. Generally an open golf championship, we are planning that 18 months before we arrive on site. We arrive on site in early June. From a structures perspective, there's over 40 guys on site. Most of them are permanent employees of Arena. And of course we then have labour supplies separate to that, running tableware, furniture, scaffolding, design, etc, etc.
My name is Willy Irish. I'm Managing Director of Arena Rim Scaffolding. We've been involved directly and indirectly with the Open Championship since 2006. Initially working on substructures supplying to the Arena Group as such, and then from 2009 we gained the BBC broadcasting contract, which obviously now has changed to Sky. We started the middle of May supplying substructures to the marquees and double deck structures on the R&A complex. So we put a substructure in to make the ground level to carry the marquees. Effectively, structures need to be built on a level ground and a solid ground. Unfortunately, like most golf courses, it's all on undulating ground, so we come in and provide a solid substructure for the marquee to be based on. This year at Birkdale, there's quite a number of structures that need to go onto a scaffold base because of the positioning of the actual structure. This year we provided 3,000 square metres of scaffold to support the R&A complex, as well as various structures out on course that become bars and viewing platforms and different hospitality structures there. Sky took over the contract in 2016 for the first year, which was at Royal Birkdale, which was a huge success where they gained a BAFTA for the efforts. Previous to that, we worked for 8 years with the BBC. Over those years, obviously, we've seen the evolution from tube and fit to system to netted towers. We've now painted them all blue. We've come up with new branding. So there's been a great change of the broadcasting structures over the years. We provided 47 media structures altogether, which vary from camera towers to media interview platforms to the new Skycam cameras, which is like a 22 metre high structure that supports the cable cam. When Arena do their site survey of each event, they will decide whether they can put that structure directly onto ground or it requires a substructure to support it. They'll then come to us with the loadings of the actual structure, what goes inside, what size it is, what weight it is, whether it's a single, double or triple deck structure. Then we'll design and calculate the scaffold to suit that particular structure.
There's over 45 articulated lorries of temporary structures alone, 18 articulated lorries with furniture and tableware, and of course scaffolding, which brings another 15 articles of its own. So it is the biggest single undertaking we do on a regular basis. I think what I will say is that the Open staging and providing infrastructure for an Open Golf Championship is unlike any other event we work on. You're working on coast, you're working on sandy, soft ground conditions, very exposed. The weather can change at a heartbeat, so we have to have a very experienced standby crew ready to react, to cover structures over, evacuate structures if necessary. It's a moving feast and we have to be ready to react and plan. We have 4 or 5 wind meters all around the site. We're monitoring it 24 hours a day so that we can react very, very quickly as and when weather conditions change, to make sure we're in control and having a proactive approach to the management of this event on behalf of the R&A. But I certainly would wish Michael Wells the absolute very best. We'll see him next year at Carnoustie. He is going to be the CEO of the Carnoustie Links Trust, so we'll be working very, very closely with Michael. And I'm sure we'll stay in touch with Michael for many, many years to come. It's been a privilege to work with him, and wish him every best for the future.
Just being involved in this great event, and more than anything, the thing I'll miss is actually the working with the contractors, the building this thing, from scratch every year. We work over winter time, putting infrastructure under the ground, and then come April you start to see the whole Open starting to build up, and those relationships with the 100 or so contractors and suppliers and the camaraderie and that family element of it is something that I think the Open has, which not an awful lot of other events do have, and it's something very special and certainly something that's I've been proud to be able to say I've worked with. So that'll be what I miss the most. And of course there's There's lots of things we can talk about innovations, but yeah, it's the people really at making events.